Hi there, designers. This week's planning assignment didn't go well. I had a lot of people who missed a lot of the point of the assignment. And so I want to let you know what the issue was, and then I also want to give you a chance to redo it. So I want to walk you through what went wrong, and then I want to give you an extra day, or I guess it's several extra days since feedback, to redo it. So this is going to be due, let's say by tomorrow, by Tuesday. And so first of all, a lot of people only did half the assignment. So a lot of people did either they showed me the revised forms, part A, or they showed me the plans. So I've done a quick version of my planning assignment just with a different space. And I'm doing this space today just because I'm in the studio today, and so it's what I can look at in front of me. So these are my 3 planning forms. So mine are a little sloppy. I just did them very, very quickly. So I apologize. I'm in the studio. I have a pencil. I don't have colored pencils and markers and stuff here. So I have a potter's wheel. That's over there. I've got a bunch of them in this studio. I've got a kiln in the other room there in this space. And then my 3rd form is a 3D printer, which is over across the room here. So these are my 3 forms. They are carefully rendered. I chose to do them all from sort of a 3/4 perspective, and I've given some clues as to depth. So we get contour lines showing me the thickness of the legs or the wheel, or the roundness of the kiln, or the roundness of the bat here. I've got some shading, so the underside or the side of the computer part of the kiln is shaded. And then I'm more or less following either an axonometric or a linear perspective, although I should say it's pretty crooked in the kiln in particular because I was doing it pretty fast. So that's part A of the assignment. Part B of the assignment is that you're going to show me 3 different versions of the space. So if I took a photograph right now, a panoramic photo, I could capture the kiln over there through that doorway. I could capture the wheel, this middle one is, and I could capture the 3D printer, which is only partly set up right now. So a photograph could capture all of those elements. That would be a picture that looks like a ground view, standing on the ground, looking out at space. It would essentially be showing linear perspective, although it might get a little distorted as I spun for the panoramic view. That's one perspective. Now, I could take a photograph from above. Get up above the building and somehow remove the roof so I could see both rooms. And then I could take a photograph that would show where the 3D printer is, where the wheel is, and where the kiln is. That's another way of doing it. Both of those are potentially realistic. So I've tried to capture 3 different approaches to showing this room. And I'm going to show you my sketches here. So first up is the map. So this is a map, a top view, right? And things are located where they really are in the studio. So I have my wheel here in the middle of the room. These little circles are the other wheels that are in the studio, but I've only enlarged one. That's the teacher wheel as a reference. Over here in a separate room is the kiln. There's 2 other kilns that I've drawn in here, but I've only emphasized the one. This room has some other furniture in it, and I've included that in my map. These are tables that are in front of me over here. These are 2 separate rooms over here, and then the printer is over there. This is an accurate representation of where stuff is in the studio. If I were trying to get somebody to go from the wheel to the kiln, they could follow this map. It's accurate. It shows where stuff is. The perspective on my 3 highlighted forms is different from the perspective of the rest of the elements in the plan, in this spatial representation. So that map from above is one way to do it. Now here's one that's more like perspective. I should say this, I need a larger sketchbook. This is the sketchbook I had at school today. But you can see the wheels follow more or less linear perspective. This is a sketch, so it's kind of messy, okay? But you can see that I'm following, I've got linear perspective in the table. This is a table with cubbies over here. Here's the table in the middle of the room. Here's the table right in front of me. I've got the 3D printer about where it belongs. I've got that center wheel depicted the same way as it was in my original plan. And then I've got a note over here for kiln. I would have to add some paper onto the side, but I could put the kiln in the right space. Again, everything is located where it belongs. I've left out some of the information here, like you can't see all of the tables, but I've still got, and you can't see the walls right now, but I've still got stuff placed correctly, accurate representation of real life. The third one here, a horizontal positioning version. So this is a bit like the map, except everything's been tipped on its side. All of the spatial references. So this table we're seeing from the side view rather than the front. All the wheels we're seeing from the side view rather than the front. The main kiln that I'm emphasizing, as well as the other two kilns, are seen from the side view. The doors are seen from the side view. This table over here, I've actually turned it on its side, like here is the top. Here's the top of this table, here's the top of this table. Because what was interesting about this table is the lockers on the side. So I've shown you the side view. And then I've left some stuff out. I haven't finished this. So really I need to do another table here with some more cubby holes and etc. But it's just a sketch. It's a sketch of the plan. Here's my my three elements again, the teacher's wheel, the 3D printer, and that one kiln, shown in more detail. This room wasn't shown in detail before, but there's a washer dryer and a mixer and a pug mill. And so all of these things, all three of these versions take a different approach to showing the same space. It's not that I made up new spaces, and that's something I saw a lot of people do in this one. They took their three elements and they put them in a line, and then they took their three elements and they put them in a square, and they added roads, or they had the roads change position. I'm asking you to create a representation that shows us what really is there. But you can do that, you can achieve that a bunch of different ways. So finally, what I am asking you to do at this point is, if you lost more points than you're comfortable with on this project, it's probably because either you didn't do part one, part A, that was the three forms. You didn't give me three forms by themselves. This isn't a map, right? This isn't a plan. Doesn't show me what the space is like. These are just 1, 2, 3 forms that happen to be on the same page. Either you skipped that, in which case go do that, or you skipped the plans. Go do them. I've given you 3 examples here in my sketchbook, but you also have the examples from other cultures, and so it might be that your plan works better to tip everything side to side, or it might be that you do kind of a combination of some of these. It might, for you, if you've got different heights of things, different levels, it might work for you to give us more of a cross-section of the space, like we saw with the axonometric example at the start. At the start of the assignment, sorry. So go fix that. Go add those on. If you did the assignment part A and part B, but you lost a lot of points, you probably lost those points either because you didn't label part A, or because, or kind of combined part A and part B into one, or your 3 plans were either just the same thing over and over again with different shading or different detail, or those plans totally changed. So you had the kiln over here in this one, and it was over here in this one. And so I want you to go back and fix those things. I'm giving you through Tuesday night to redo the planning assignment, and anyone can redo it. If you don't redo it, fine, but if you would like to, I want you to redo it. That's it. All right, the other thing is that pushes your project back a little bit. And so if you did need to do some revision to your planning, that might impact what you do in your project. So I'm going to push the project due date back as well. At this point, I'm going to put the project due date on Tuesday, because if I let it go too much longer, it runs into the next week. If you don't think that's appropriate, come talk with me. We'll talk about what kind of time you need and how that's going to impact your next week. All right? Thanks.